gonna be what I wanna be? When am I gonna see what I wanna see? Time is thinking and I can't wait no more. Dreams ever come true in the spot of this world. When am I gonna be?
Yes, indeed. What exactly are we going to see the Nigeria of our dreams? The Nigeria where there will be peace, progress, where there will be food sustainability, food security, there will be plenty for all to make merry. Well, that is one of the questions we'll be asking this morning, and we'll be trying to provide answers to these questions. As we begin to look at the statement credited to Mr. President, that's President Muhammadu Buhari, last week Tuesday in Kaduna, while inaugurating Africa's biggest hatchery and feed mill constructed by Olam Grains at the cost of over $150 million. President Buhari, who inaugurated the company, had a speech read by Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Aldo Ogbe. Well, I would like to quote Mr. President word for word. He said, and I quote, "We participated in the event because it is clearly evident that economic growth is taking place, especially in the agricultural sector. It is in this connection that we must be able to feed ourselves from what we grow and grow what we eat before we can comfortably turn our attention to many other key concepts of our daily life." The president also said the federal government has in the last 2 years made agriculture a profitable venture in Nigeria, attracting investment from within and outside the country. They also noted that new jobs were being created daily for the teeming youth, and the economy has started booming again due to policy intervention in the agricultural sector, which focus on internal growth and ending food import. How realistic or how true is this that we have really uh, grown internally or actually ended food import? These are issues that, of course, we would like to look at this morning. What are the parameters for measuring our growth in the actual agricultural sector? Have we drastically reduced the huge import bill, especially as regards food and other commodities that are consumables, actually? Well, when we look at all this, you realize that agriculture, which of course should be given uh, the attention it requires, is something that we cannot continue to relegate to the background. How have we done this? How have we fared, not only at the federal level, but also at the state level and at the local government level? Really, in the constitution, the local governments are supposed to be the main drivers of this agricultural growth because they have the land. But how well have they fared in this as regards this responsibility and task that the Constitution has bequeathed to them? Well, we're looking at all this this morning, and of course, we have someone in the studio that is very qualified to look at this. Aghemerio.
Okay. When we talk about food security or insecurity in Nigeria, it calls for a big concern because among the most enduring and damaging impacts of Nigeria's oil and gas resource curse has been the long, steady decline of the country's agricultural sector. And once the primary source of government revenue and foreign exchange earnings, which is agriculture in Nigeria, has suffered from decades of underinvestment, corruption, policy neglect, and lost opportunity. Now, one of the major things that we need in life, apart from shelter and all that, food is very, very important. And once there is shortage of food, there's a big problem. Nigeria is large. We have human resources, we have human resources. Yet, we're having problems with agriculture, and we're finding it so difficult now to even feed ourselves. Just recently, was it last week, the government talked about the number of cattle we rear, and the rate at which we consume beef and meat. And it's so alarming because it's not commensurating. Like you're rearing about 120 cattle and you're consuming about 300 or 400. that calls for a big concern. And that has, that cuts across every other aspect of agriculture. And there's no how we cannot talk about this. It's so important because food is key.
Very, very key. Well, we have in the studio Sam Otubusin, a professor of aquaculture systems, bioengineering, and fisheries management and economics at the Federal University of Agriculture at Belkota, Funab. You're welcome to the Daybreak Show, Professor.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's so good to have you here.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, Prof, on the surface, if you look at the statement credited to Mr. President, read out by the Minister of Agriculture, would you say that we've made appreciable progress when it comes to development in the agricultural sector?
I quite agree. Within the last 1 year, we have made some appreciable progress, considering the establishment of partnership between some states to grow food. For example, the Lagos State and Kebbi State, they had that agreement which has started yielding some fruits in the production of rice, large-scale production of rice. So also I'm sure some other states are doing the same. The Abakaliki area, Ebonyi State, and they are very good in rice production also. And I learned recently, Ogun State also has some rice farms, in thousands of hectares, Igua area and many other areas. And also, when you talk of inputs, the fertilizer, the moribund fertilizer factories are being resuscitated, and that's a plus to increasing food production in the country. Well, our major staple food production are really on maize, rice, and many others. But we are yet to get there.
Why are we not there yet?
Well, hitherto, the government had not been sincere, especially at the federal level. There have been a lot of waste. Drain pipes. You can imagine the billions of naira, also dollars and whatever it is, that have been recovered recently because of corruption. See, Nigeria.
What you're talking about waste and drain pipes. What are these drain pipes? What are these waste you're talking about?
Yes. The policy is there, but the policy is not sincerely implemented. Rather, the money that have been voted for this and that, they go into private pockets. And that's why even individuals are richer than many states combined. But if the money or the monies earmarked for certain projects are sincerely and faithfully utilized in doing what it's supposed to do, food production, Nigeria should be able to feed all our populace within the next 2 years and even start exporting. And it's very embarrassing that this is not so. India, I've been to India 4 times, even I was there last year. The population of India is over 1 billion, and nobody goes home to bed in the night hungry, because they are able to produce almost all they need. And that's why I talk of rice being imported into Nigeria from India. It's very, very embarrassing. And the population of Nigeria is just about, let's say, 80 million, which is just like a little over 10% of the population of India. A country that cannot feed her populace should be ashamed of herself. And Nigeria is supposed to be the giant of Africa. I know with if we are pragmatic, and we are strategic, and we are focused, and we are sincere, and corruption is is brought low to the barest minimum, we can make it. We have the advantage. The weather is very, very favorable.
All right, we're talking about over 170 million Nigerians, or even 180 million of Nigerians. Okay, the population keeps increasing or keeps growing. And, well, I cannot really tell what it's going to be like in the next 5, 6, 10 years. But is there anything to worry about when it comes to food production and the rate at which our population is growing from now till about in about 5-10 years time?
We need to worry seriously. There's that adage: a hungry man is an angry man. And in Yoruba language, they will say, maybe Tobi help me interpret. Tí ebi bá kúrò nínú ìṣẹ́ bùṣẹ́ ó yá Tobi.
Well, Prof, that's a very good approach started this discussion. But one thing that Nigerians really want to see is the prices of food commodities coming down drastically. How much is the price of a rubber of gari? How much is the price of a bag of rice? How much is the price of the bag of beans, onions, pepper, tomato, and the likes? What have we done in real practical terms to force down these prices?
As I said earlier, I talked about states having a participatory program of growing rice, this and that. It had just started. All we are saying is just within the past. It's not even up to 2 years. Prices have not started going down drastically. For example, I asked somebody just a few minutes ago, a Congo of other rice, high quality of other rice. He says it's over 1,000 naira. And a Congo is about maybe 1 kilo, if not even less. That's still very, very expensive. It's not within the reach of the common man. So the prices of food, food items have not started going down that much. But it's going to take us some time for the prices to go down. A tuber of yam, a very big one, will cost close to 800 naira. Or maybe minimum 500 naira. And it's not still there yet. Even though individuals may have to go into farming, but not everybody has the advantage of land within their vicinity to do any small-scale farming. We are still going to rely more on large-scale farming, mechanized farming, not hoe and cutlass. It's mechanized. Even though the flood also is doing its own part, which is a natural disaster. I read in the newspaper a few days ago, the flood in Benue State, that ravaged farmlands. And even the governor of the state, Samuel Otubusin, that he lost over 5,000 hectares of his farmland, which he planted with yam and rice, to flood. We are going to get there. It's just a matter of the will. When you have the will, and when we have the will and we have the sincerity, and we are proactive, and we are focused, we get there. I know of individuals, even in FUNAB, in the Department of Aquaculture and Fisheries Management, who have large-scale fish farming project, even bigger than that of the university. What I'm trying to bring out here, government has no business in business. It's the individuals who are going to do it, the Dangotes, and the many other private people who are sincere and focused because they know they have to make profit from their venture. So we are going to get there. It's a matter of time.
All right, let's talk a bit about the pricing of the prices of foods in the market. Now, you mentioned for rice going for about 1,000 naira or 1,000 naira plus. Okay, and if I have to buy the imported one, I could get it for 500. I think the last one I got was 480 naira. Well, I'm a lover of avocado rice, okay, but the truth is, if you have to compare the difference, a typical Nigerian may want to go for the imported one, but that is not the issue for me. Now, let's look at the processing too. Offer the rice is still not so well processed, because I remember one of the reasons why I had to stop buying was because after buying, and I keep it for about a week or 2 weeks, before long, it starts getting spoiled. And that's another issue, and I wonder why, if I keep the imported one for a month, it's still there. Okay, I still can get back to it even 2 months after. But why is it that we have issues with the processing?
More research has to go into it also. But when it comes to preservation, people who have done it before, researching on it, even the people who even produce or offer the rice, they know there are different grades. The one I said sells for over 1,000 naira per mudu, per Congo, is the highest quality of other rice. No stones inside it, and it preserves for a long time. That's what I eat, or we eat at home. or it's nutritious, when it comes to health-wise, it's really the best. But then, because of the stores, the processing, the people who do it, they know what they are doing. They sell at the best, the well processed and the best processed at the highest price. And the one with stones and other things and that do not even turn out well after cooking, they are the cheapest. But then research has to also come in. And even the research is not necessary to be government. Those who are into it, especially commercially, they can, they have a memorandum of understanding with, research institutes that deal in rice and all that, and they come together as a partner, and they get the results and they use it, and it helps them. It also increases their own price and their output, and also they have more harvest, and they have more money for the whatever they do. But if it is well processed and eventually the price goes down, people will prefer it to imported rice. They are talking of plastic rice. But with the other one is locally produced, and you know the source, and you know it's high quality, and it's health. You are healthier eating it. People will really go for it. But the research has to go into it, and it has to be participatory between the producers and the researchers.
All right, Prof. One thing that is a reality in Nigeria is the fact that oil still accounts for more than 90% of Nigerians' earnings.
92%, even
92% to be precise. Now, how far are we to reducing this and making sure that agriculture is at par with oil when it comes to earnings?
That's a very long one. Because as long as the oil is still there, and at the oil market, the price of crude oil is going up, oil will still be our mainstay. That's just it. But it's going to take us some time. But it also depends on how sincere we are about it. If that oil was not there, we had no oil many years ago. Nigeria survived. We had the granite pyramids from the north, the palm oil from the east, and the cocoa from the west. I know we even have the cocoa house there, built from money realized from cocoa. But the moment oil came in, the tempo of agriculture went down. The farm settlement centers established by late Papa Awolowo, they all know. Even though the Ogun State government is trying to revitalize them, I don't know to what extent. So we are still going to get there. Maybe the prayer we should pray that the oil should no longer be there. Then we shall be forced to not really make good use of our comparative advantage of different crops in the different parts of the country.
All right. One thing that one good news that we've seen in recent times is that some state governments are collaborating to plant, harvest, and sell. Even though they are yet to start exporting this packaged rice, you see some level of collaboration between Lagos State and Kebbi State that resulted into the lake rice. Ogun State is also planning to package its own rice, which will be called a Mitros rice. Now, beyond this initiatives that would, of course, make rice available, which is, of course, becoming the main staple of Nigeria and Nigerians, apart from making it more affordable, can we actually get it to the level where we can really export and earn some foreign exchange?
Definitely we get there. We get there definitely in that the leadership matters. If the leadership is focused and sincere, proactive and pragmatic, the followership has no other thing than to follow the leadership. In the past, big men, let me put it that way, were struggling for oil blocks. They never struggled to have any farmland to produce more food. But when oil blocks are no longer given out to anybody, they will be forced to now invest in whatever money they have, whether stolen or sincerely gotten, into productive ventures that are recognized by the leadership. That's the way I see it. Well, recently, I used to have a friend, was one time a governor, a military governor. He had a large farmland somewhere. But when the situation changed, the tempo changed, he's now gone back to resuscitate that land. And he's making progress because the money was not coming from all those other sources, either too. Now they know you have to go back to the land, to till the land and produce food. Because as Papa Obasanjo will say Agbeloba, he has the house he called Agbeloba at Quarry Road. The farmer is the king. It's a matter of time. But I said earlier, once your stomach is filled, you don't even think of many other things again. But when you are hungry, you have the money and there's no food to buy, then that's for wahala. So we are going to get there. It's just a matter of the leadership being focused, pragmatic, and proactive.
Now, one thing which people have talked about is the lack of interest of the average Nigerian youth in farming, in agricultural development. How can we make this attractive? What can government do to actually incorporate the Nigerian youth, either through the NYSC or either through different schemes that will make our goals in agriculture fast and achievable?
Recently, or maybe a few years ago, I know the central bank has a certain program they call Anchor
Borrowers program.
My brother's program. It has been working. It's just a matter of increasing that type of situation so that the funding will be there. But they need the finances. Then also, when it comes to marketing their produce, the government, or when they are in the form of a cooperative, the government can buy off what they are producing even before they finish harvesting. And then they are sure there will be regular income for them and at a good price. But when they are in a cooperative, they are able to bargain better. But if you want to sell your goods all alone, you will definitely be cheated. Or the goods will just keep on lying there and without being sold. But the government can create an enabling environment in form of soft loan or many other incentives, so that the young entrepreneurs, we know that they can make quick money and constant one and reliable one from farming. But their handicap, especially because of finance, the skill is there, but the financial support is not there. And that's what the government should. I think before they used to have what they call NDE, National Directorate of Employment, which was working to some extent, but I don't know what happened to it. Even in FUNAB, some years back, FUNAB graduates, they will be asked to drop their certificates to obtain a loan, maybe about 200,000 naira. What happened to that again, I don't know. But for now, the money sent from Abuja to the different parastatals and states has gone down by about 30%. It's been that it's affected by, it's affecting this type of situation that can be created. But if the government has the will, all the stolen money that are being recouped, they can be invested in agriculture, and it's going to help us a lot.
Or we've always had policies, even we have President Buhari trying to diversify the economy, and the Federal Executive Council recently approved an agriculture promotion policy called Green Alternative 2016-2020. Of course, the policy is aimed at revamping the agricultural sector and enhancing food security in the nation. Now, looking at this policy, can we truly say that this policy, considering the fact that we've always had policies, can we truly say that with this kind of policy, we should be able to break forth and be able to feed ourselves as a nation?
We should be able. There have been policies, and programs, Operation Feed the Nation, put forward by the year 20 this and many other. But the sincerity of implementing it, that's what matters.
Why can't we be sincere about this?
Because the will is not there. But now I think there's that sincerity with the leadership we have. But from the look of things, now, like a few months ago, the Minister of Agriculture, Chief Otubusin, announced that certain tons of yam tubers were exported. That's the beginning of it. and new yams are already coming in. So what they exported definitely must be old yam, which either will get rotten, by the roadside. So when it comes to agriculture, you talk of the inputs. You prepare the land, you have to get the right land, and you put the inputs have to be their fertilizer, pesticide, and all the like. Then the harvesting, then the processing and the preservation. Now let's talk of tomatoes, for example. It's still part of the ingredients of making food. You get to the axis where they are produced, you see many, or you in particular, you see baskets of tomato rotten. Preservation or processing. I learned that Gote sometimes had to buy tomato from in some farms in Kano State to have this tomato puree. It's a chain. The head of the chain. The value chain has to be there. The food sometimes are really produced in large quantity, but the spoilage is small, about 40% sometimes. Even in fish, spoilage could be up to 40% in fish, especially in capture fisheries. Where in aquaculture, that one is under your control. You harvest it when you want to sell it. But in the capture fisheries, artisanal fisheries, there's a lot of wastage because of lack of processing or storage facilities. So the willpower is what matters. If the society is there, then we are going to follow the leadership and make sure that the policies are well implemented.
We're still practicing subsistence nature of agriculture to modernize agricultural production, storage, and processing. How can we wriggle out of this?
Well, we need research to start with. For example, when it comes to mechanized farming, it could be very, very expensive when you talk of the machinery that they are using. But with research, there could be simpler, cheaper, locally fabricated equipment that you can use to till the farm without much traction. They call it traction. Because most of our farmers, they are subsistence farmers. It's only the few that are rich that are going to mechanized farming. But apart from that, there are some cooperatives that can acquire good earth-moving equipment and also tractors through the ministries or whatever it is to till the land, to clear the land for large cooperative members of cooperative group. Then they now distribute it to them. Like when I was in the north, we used to have something like that. They would come with the tractors, they clear thousands of hectares of land, then they now apportion it to members of the cooperatives. Then they also give them some other inputs that they also pay for as subsidized rates. And they do the planting and people are really making good harvest. So there should be need for farmers to go into cooperatives to benefit from mechanized farming.
All right, now that we do not really have many of our farmers into mechanized farming, it's still about subsistence nature of agriculture. Can we truly feed ourselves with that kind of with subsistence nature of agriculture?
We should still feed ourselves. In that the subsistence farmers, they won't have to go to the market to buy what they are already growing.
But what about those who are not into farming?
Those who are not into farming, they come and buy from them. And they also buy from the mechanized farmers.
Okay.
No, look, for that, Benue State is said to be one of the 6 largest food baskets of Nigeria. There was even a woman there, a widow for that matter, the wife of a retired soldier. Well, that's a long story. She had thousands of hectares of farmland, mechanized. Definitely, she does not own the mechanized, the implements for the mechanization. But we always be gotten from cooperative. Definitely, she must be a member of a cooperative program. And again, also the money, the funding also is not from our pocket. It must be also from a loan, from a certain outfit. Maybe this is the same anchor. What do you call it?
Anchor Boras.
They are like Fidelity Bank. They also give out loans to farmers, even large-scale farmers, as far back as 10 years ago, running into billions of naira. No, the banks will only invest in a program that they know is profitable. No, it's reasonable. That's it. Once they see a program or a portfolio, a program that is good, they are ready to lend out to that people and recoup their money in good time. So the subsistence farmers, they still be there for whatever the number of ages, depending on their capacity. But the mechanized is the instinct to quickly get through into producing enough for the country and also exporting.
Now, Prof, you are a guru when it comes to aquaculture systems and fisheries management. Uh, Nigeria has uh, uh, a lot of people who are into fisheries, who are into fish farming, and of course, if you look at the billions we still spend on importing fishes, different types of fishes in the country, you begin to wonder why exactly are we still depending on imported fish? How close are we to self-sustainability and reliance on our homegrown fishes?
Okay, that's a very, very good question. And the price of homegrown fish is getting down, is falling gradually. A few months ago, or maybe say let's say last year, a kilo retail price of catfish
Yes.
was around 900 naira. Even also tilapia, about 900 naira also. Cultured, very fresh. Even there are 3 cage culture farms in Oyon Lake, in Ogun State here. They are producing tilapia now large scale. Just a few weeks ago, the price has gone to 850 naira per kilo. It's going to be a gradual thing. And as more people go into fish farming, and the inputs also, the prices crash. And that's what is happening. Hitherto it was Copens that used to be the best fish feed. I mean fish food. They call it fish feed in the country. The price was so exorbitant. But there are many other companies are now producing their own floating pelleted feed locally in Ibadan, in Kaduna, and here and there. And the prices are now going down. It used to be around maybe 500 naira or more than that per kilo, but it's now gone down to around 300 naira per kilo. So as the prices of the inputs go down, then we have more fish being produced. Then the price of fish also be going down. For now, imported fish is cheaper, but then when it comes to quality, some of the imported fish, they've been on the sea maybe for 5 months, 6 months. By the time you even test them, they have microorganisms that could be very, very injurious to the body. We have imported tilapia also. Last year it was selling for 900 naira per kilo, just to be at par with the locally produced one. But the locally produced one is preferable in that it is fresh, right from the water, still with blood in the body, as my mother would say. So we are going to get there. Corruption has been the cancer that have been eating deep into the fabrics of the economy, politics, governance of this country. But corruption will go down eventually. It should be. I know Buhari cannot fight it alone, but it will go down. It will go down. It's a matter of time, because once the leadership is there and is focused and is sincere, all other things will follow suit, and many things will start working.
All right, if you just joined us, what we're looking at this morning is self-sustainability in agriculture, food security, and of course food production in Nigeria. The president is of the belief that Nigeria should gradually be moving towards feeding herself instead of relying on food imports. We have in the studio a professor of agricultural systems, bioengineering, fisheries management, and economics, Professor Samuel Otubusin. You can start sending your contributions to different platforms on Facebook. Our Facebook fan page remains Rock City FM 11.9, and our Twitter handle is at Rock City FM. You can also reach us via the short code 32120. All you have to do is to type rock, ROCK, leave a space, type your message, include your name, and send to 32120. We'll take a breather now for the national news at 10. After the national news, we'll be back. We'll start with your contributions. Professor Otubusin will still be here in the studio. Stay with us.
What we see doesn't matter what our eyes can see. There's gonna be a better day.
Yes, we also believe that it's going to happen in our time, not in the future, not in the distant future, but of course in the nearest future. That day, that we will be able to feed ourselves, and we will be able to have plenty food in abundance, and of course. And billions of dollars through export. We have continued to import food items, fishes, and so many other commodities. Rice, which is the main staple of an average Nigerian, but of course. That must end. That is what Mr. President is preaching. And of course, is of the opinion that Nigeria must begin to feed herself. And that is what we are looking at this morning. How far or how near are we to that goal? We have at the studio Sam Otubusin, a professor of aquaculture systems, bioengineering, fisheries management, and economics. Professor Otubusin has been here in the studio since 9:15, and together we'll be looking at this issue. And he believes that for less than 2 years that we have started this process of making sure that we really develop the agricultural sector, that we go back to the farms. We are beginning to reap the dividends, the rewards, even though it's going to take some time. Prof, when we look at all that the government has done, before now, in recent time, people would say that the real change in the agricultural sector started with the former Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Aghemerio additional, who implemented a lot of programs, and then this administration is also towing that line. If we look at all these developments, do you foresee a country whereby agriculture will be the major top earner for Nigeria?
That's where we are going right now. When the price of crude oil plummeted, we started to think of non-oil sector. But now that is glaring to us that which is renewable is agriculture. The oil situation will dry up one day. I mean, the oil wealth will dry up one day. But the agri will still be there. The land will still be there to till. And with the comparative advantage we had, and we still have, in the three regions, let's say three regions, northern region, western region, and eastern region. And with the focus of the present administration, we will definitely get there. Well, I know of many people now, when they retire as PAMSEC or governor or this and that, they're now going to agriculture because the money is really there. The money is no longer there to steal. And even if it's there to steal, they are caught. Nobody has gone to jail for fraudulent practices. But then the money will be recovered, and very soon it's going to be a shame for anybody to steal any money. Or else it's so crazy for anybody to be stacking billions of naira here and there. It's madness. But when you go to agriculture, people know that you are making your money in a clean way. And even when you see nature growing and bringing food to the table, and people getting happier and getting healthier, we won't be happier. So such a situation will soon come. What we had before the oil boom period. The oil doom will soon come, and the agri will take over. And that's the natural thing. Even in the Bible, it says that you should go and till the land, and that's what it is naturally, to till the land and to raise livestock and make good use of what God has given us. Nigeria has a big advantage, and Nigeria very soon will soon field other countries, especially to start from West Africa and other parts of the country of Africa, of the continent. So we shall get there. It's a matter of time.
All right, we'll welcome your contributions right about now. You remember the numbers to call remain 0809 868 7344 and 0909 146 967. 32120 is the shortcut number, or you have to type rock, leave a space, type your message, include your name, and send to 32120.
You And also tweet at Rock City FM or use our Facebook fan page Rock City 101.9 FM. But we'll start off with
Calling from People's Parliament in Abeokuta. I've listened to you, Prof. I mean, you have a very good submission. But I just want to observe in the area that I still want to give it to this government because this is going to be the first time I'm going to hear, a government, exporting yam. I mean, I still want to give it to Baba Otubusin for doing that. But we can still do more. The areas I want the government to concentrate is the area of, access to funds. We have a lot of unemployed graduates. I'm telling you, let us make agriculture to be very, very attractive. I'm telling you, all these guys who want to leave all these, 419 thing they are doing, all this cyber crime and all that. By the time you make it, very workable, give them some hectares of land, mechanized, do the plowing, do the whatever, look agricultural start on the field for them. It's something we have tried during in 1980. I mean, I participated in one for Shiva Development Basin Authority where we, did rice farming in Tobi. I mean, it was fantastic. They gave us everything. They took part of the money they gave to us. I mean, a part of the proceeds. When they sold our proceeds, they got our proceeds. They took part of the money and gave us the remaining money. By the time you energize or probably encourage people like that, people want to go into agriculture. Nigeria can export. We can earn foreign exchange. I mean, a lot of things. People will get involved and get engaged. They will be able to feed themselves. Let me allow other people to call. God bless you people there. God bless Nigeria.
God bless you too. Hello. Oh no. Well, let's that call. Hello. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Aghemerio. Good morning, Tobi.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm Wahid. I'm calling from Abeokuta. Doctor, good morning to you, sir.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
Yes, how are you, sir?
Thank you.
Yeah. You have said it well. I love your submission. But I have some history with some of the statements you made in that submission, and I want to take you up on that. Number one, we all agree that in the last administration, we agreed that the corruption, the level of corruption at the last administration was monumental. And everybody agreed to that as a result of revelations of corruption that have been revealed by the present administration that we can all attest to. The issue of arms scandal, the $2.1 billion and that what is it called? This Ikoyi issue and all that. We know. Now you are talking of corruption that we have a lot of the country sites in which our money are being siphoned. But you people, you fought seriously for Jonathan to come back to power. And you cannot tell me, except you want to disagree with me, that you didn't know that large administration was full of corruption. I'm not saying we don't have the corruption is not still on. I agree it is still on. But in the last administration, it was monumental. And you people still fought tooth and nail for Mr. President to come back. I mean, the last president that we had, President Julius Jonathan, that is number one. Number two, you are also part of the conduit pipe in which our money are being siphoned. If I were you, I would not agree for that last national conference to be convocated at that time because Jonathan did that at the twilight of administration, and it was obvious that definitely, the time he convocated that what is it called national conference is not appropriate time for him to have done that, and you people collected our money. What was the result? What is the result of that national conference up to this moment now? That is my question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Tobi.
Good morning,
Aghemerio. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning,
My
friend.
name is Dr. Onkom. I'm calling from Ashiru.
Abadi.
Prof, I'm not a specialist in agriculture, but I'm a common man in the street, buying from Kuto, Agaton, Odeda, and what have you. And I did say, sir, I think when people are saying there is food insecurity in Nigeria, we will do this, I always believe that is a media creation or an attempt to stampede us into doing something. I don't think a time like that will ever come. And I give you the reason why I'm saying so, sir. If you buy a small yam in Kuto market, it's about the number 6, what this is, it's about 3,500. Just drive a bit of that, it's 2,000 naira. What is it? And people say, the same thing with Gary. The problem is not us not producing. The problem is that what happens in the in-between. So
when the in-between is taken care of, because of economic recession, because of that, what a good, at no time we will go to that level where we will eat like Venezuela from dustbin. I don't think so. And so also, even here, this year we are talking of, we buy here 3,005, go to Kaduna, it is 1,005. It's the same Nigeria. So the issue is not production of yam. How do you get it? How do you get it to Dr. Hong Kong in this thing? So someone here in Nigeria will say, oh, yam is this thing. The government is bad. There's no government because yam is down that. Meanwhile, people are throwing away yam somewhere.
We have 10 seconds more to go.
And what we are being forced to do now is that we are now being asked to look at the that interface. Look at leg rice. Is it just because we have a governor who can think? We would have had leg rice. And is it right that God manufactured it now? No.
All right, Dr.
Some people are thinking. And the issue is beyond just start feeding us. Who's on a thinking cap? Agriculturists.
Dr. Come, your time is up.
We don't need to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. We have you.
Yes, my name is Comrade Mr. Wadiwoko. Good morning, Professor in the house. I greet you, sir.
Okay, good morning.
Although I saw the program at the second leg of the discussion, well done, sir. Yes, sir. I want to take you up on something, sir. Concerning our palm oil seedling. Malaysia came all the way from their country to steal our palm oil seedling. Sorry for using the word steal. They took it to their country. They invested it wisely. Today, Malaysia happens to be the largest, exporter of palm oil at the expense of Nigeria that has the original palm oil seedling. Sir, what do you think would have been responsible for that? Why the neglect of this palm oil seedling? Is it that there is a magic behind the exploration of the palm oil seedling that they stole from this country to their country? Why is it that we cannot go to Malaysia and tap into their experientiality, how they made this, unprecedented feat? Why is it that our palm oil seedling has been relegated to the background? It is not being tapped into. Sir, could you please explain? I believe you are an expert in this profession. Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Sir Tobi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hola, Uluwati, calling from Basala, Deputy. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
I want to believe from the last Jonathan administration, Nigeria begins to get its focus right back in agriculture. Because he had Dr. Adesina here, as the information has come in the studio. He gave us a good base more. For example, in fertilizer allocation, by one example, which has been the brain of agricultural production. The federal government is going along that line, and this is a regime that we can say there is no policy from assault in agriculture. Nigeria is making a good stride in agriculture now, and we can say if we continue on this tempo, we will be there as we have proceeded, sir. Also, 2 weeks ago, among the factors and the indices that we were told made us to get out of recession was agriculture. So the federal government is showing a committed interest in agriculture. For the first time, we are having back food plants after exit and collapse due to bad policy. They are now Erico, they are got tomato patches, rice mills. What we need now is to develop our food technology so that the agriculture food chain will be effective. This will also take care of both harvest losses. Also, during the Aghemerio era, big companies like Nestle Food, USA Food were asked to source their raw materials internally. And this started with big production in the north before before another policy from assault. I believe the government should revisit this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, this is Tajudin Babsalati.
Yes, thank you for
Morning,
calling.
Prof.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes. I know that the problem we have in this country is the issue of corruption and misplacement of priority.
Tajidin Babsala.
Why am I saying this? You discover that a lot of people go into agriculture if they have tax money from somewhere or looted money. Yet we give them, you call this type of people absentee farmer. And again, you discover that many a times when government embark
program. Criticism from the populace always affect good, laudable programs. Like the issue of exporting yams to foreign lands. You discover that a lot of people criticize the issue. But yet, not knowing that many people will go into that business because why? They know that they will have market for their business. That is one good thing about that program. But where I'm saying is, I know you are in a lighter mood that you go about your 180K that soon. And even before yesterday, I saw you on your Jeep, in your people. How many of our people can be proud to? I'm not even talking of academic environment now. Anywhere in the society, how many of us can be proud of using our old ancient vehicles and be proud? You see, we have lost everything because the value system is eroded. And for example, to development on the part of government, a place that is earmarked for agriculture, we discover that because of development, we say they want to build housing and whatever. Like where you are now, along the river. Before now, you have been making good progress in that place. Now, development has come to that place. Definitely, if for somebody who is not conscious of what he's doing, so that such person will be attracted to tell us the place.
All right,
Of money is good place. So
thank you.
these are problems that create some. That is what I'm trying to say this morning.
All right, good morning. Hello.
Quickly handle this. Prof.
So, quick, I start from the last caller, even though I could not get his name. You can plant something at the back of your house to start with. For example, the man, Mr. Tajudin, or is it Alaji Tajudin? He knows me so much and I don't know him. He knows my 180K, which is 41 years old, and my B2, which is 39 years old. I also know the fish archery at Idiaba. Whatever the case, that Idiaba area, all the plantain we ate in my family, in my household last year, were harvested from the back there. You will never believe it. So if you can plant a little okra, vegetable, this and that, even at the back of your house, it will reduce the amount of money you are going to spend in buying from the market. Then thank you, Mr. Tajudin, for knowing so much about me. You just made the comment. Exporting yam is a good thing. If you know your yam be exported, then you are going to plant more yam and there will be more production. People know that when you plant, you are going to have people who will take it and for a good money. And it will not be a waste. Then I go to Mr. Oluwabi. The fertilizer allocation, whatever it is, during the time of Dr. Adeshino, it was good. But now, this present government is resuscitating fertilizer blending plants so that the fertilizers can be produced locally and the price will be more affordable than before. Then Mr. Ariwoko, you say palm oil seedlings exported to Malaysia. Incidentally, I did my postgraduate studies in the Philippines, which was just, and Malaysia was our neighbor. In the Philippines, they are very, very practical. And that's what is helping me also when I came back to Nigeria. That in fish farming, just show me a body of water, no matter how small, I will produce fish inside it. Because of the practicality of it, and you are focused. Hitherto, when I was not trained, I wouldn't know how to raise fish. But even in my sitting room, I raise fish to table size, sitting room. So it's training where people are trained and there's enabling environment. They are going to perform. Malaysia took our palm oil seedlings from 94, I think, in Benin City, and they're able to now make the palm oil to do very well in their country. And I even like that maybe they even export palm oil to Nigeria. It's the leadership, as they say, and the sincerity and being focused, pragmatic, and being proactive. That's what it entails. And talking to Dr. Okom, I'm an optimist. I'm highly optimistic. I never give up. And I believe if I fail today, tomorrow I'm going to succeed. So I know with time we are going to be food self-sufficient in Nigeria. If we still continue to have the good leadership that is sincere, focused, and pragmatic. Imagine $209 billion, naira recovered. That's what EFCC reported between January and July. If that amount of money was given to young entrepreneurs to produce food, and they are giving all the implements, all the inputs, the implements and everything, and the buy-off also is there where they produce. People are able to, to buy from them even before they even finish production, and they collect their money. They are going to produce more. So I'm highly optimistic that Nigeria is going to be self-sufficient in food production within the next few years. They are going to YD. He said, you people voted for Jonathan, this and that national conference. I'm not part of it. I knew Buhari as far back as 1990, when I was in Kainchi, before he was overthrown. And I knew he was forthright and straightforward. And I won't tell you whether whoever I voted for, that's my personal thing, but I wouldn't vote for somebody who will not bring this country, add value to this country. But with the leadership we have now, I'm sure we are going to make it if there's continuity in policy and they are sincere about the implementation of policy. And I'm sure they are sincere because we are getting results gradually. Then getting to Honorable Lanre Jaji, he said access to funds. If members in the entrepreneurs, they join cooperatives, they will be able to know where they have funds released. Like in CBN, they have the Anchor Borrower scheme, and they have been releasing funds to sincere and disciplined entrepreneurs. Because some will collect the money, they go and spend it on something else. But Fidelity Bank also, I learned, there are many other banks, they have agricultural programs that are for young farmers and those who are really interested in whether in small scale or large scale farming. So it's a matter of getting, you ask. If you don't ask, you won't receive. You seek, they'll be able to find out. If you knock, it will be opened. There are many, even some NGOs are there that also give out loans or grants for people to go into farming and become empowered so that they can be self-sufficient. So the matter of food security in Nigeria is a matter of time. And if there is continuity in implementation of policies, then we are going to get good results. I'm very, very optimistic. Thank you.
Okay, still on Citizens Forum, Daybreak Show, Rock City 11.9 FM. We have still coming from Professor Agbola AAA. If truly fishes are from heaven, why are they not in abundance in Nigeria? Is Professor Otubusin believes in that Yoruba adage. Can there be any agricultural revolution in Nigeria without true fiscal federalism? State and local government must be independent. Still coming from Professor Agbola AAA. And we got this one from Yamida Vinci. Nigeria can easily meet its local food demands if we are a serious country and invest in preservation and distribution to reduce wastages. And still from Yamida Vinci. Any nation which cannot feed itself or secure its food sources is at a danger. Professor, in what ways has the Boko Haram issue affected us? Agriculture can replace oil as Nigeria's revenue mainstay, but unlike Professor, I don't think this government is sincere, so I don't see it happening. Still coming from Yamida Vinci, youth will come into agriculture more if government mirrors the kind of subsidy and guarantees American government gives its farmers, I beg your pardon. All right, those are the tweets here for now.
All right, let's also add this short code messages. This one says, my take is yes, Dangote must go ahead with the project and it must be supervised by him as well, not by the federal government. Moreover, 10 years is too much for him to do the project. Well, as Sogwa Ayokunle from Ibeshi, we got a message for the quick test, but don't forget, we did not say that 10 years is for the project. 10 years tax holiday for Dangote Industries. That's the fact. All right, this one says, Prof, good morning, sir. What are the factors militating against the drastic reduction of crops like yam and other edible products being harvested on a yearly basis at FUNAB? and why the university has not been planting rice massively for people's consumption and also serve as a source of revenue for the institution. That's Cosmos from Goshen Estate. Until Nigeria diversify her economy and stop depending on oil, we will continue to travel in circle. Also, curriculum should be redesigned. Oluwashiwa Kinde sent in that one. This one says, good morning, Tobi Joseph, Aghemerio and Professor Tubushi. Yesterday, I was on Google searching for tutorial on integrated farm management and I stumbled on FUNAB website. I recommend it to all farmers. It is invaluable. Olufemi Adeshola from Songo sent in that. And this one says, yes, agriculture is one of the sectors that can contribute positively to our GDP, but the subsistence system of farming cannot take us anywhere. The government is also not helping the issue by allowing companies to bring in agricultural produce to sell at cheaper prices, thereby frustrating our local growers. I'm not sure we are serious with the crusade to make Nigeria economic hub of Africa. How do we encourage commercial farming in Nigeria? Kenny Additional from Washiro sent in that. The government can be able to improve the production process of agriculture by diverting their policymakers and revenue to the agricultural sector. The government needs to provide storage facilities for all 774 local government areas in the country to reduce spoilage. The initiative of federal government of buying farm produce from the local farmers to undergo value-adding process like post-harvest technique should be encouraged. The federal government also needs to renovate all road networks to farm settlements for rural farmers and need active movement of perishable goods like vegetables. All right, that's Mankot from Horticulture Department, FUNAB. Prof, over to you.
Thank you, all the listeners that contributed. Most of them are comments. Now, coming to the case of FUNAB providing food for Abeokuta, there are what you call factors of production. We have the two factors of production, that is the land and the manpower. But the fund is not there. Even to pay salaries sometimes, we have to wait until Abuja says something in. And agriculture needs funding to be able to go about it. I remember in those good old days when I was at University of Ife, that was in the early 70s, the students in the Faculty of Agriculture were producing all the eggs, all the students in the host, we were eating. Maybe we ate one egg per day that time. But now, the money is not there to even have the inputs. Even the salary to be paid is not even forthcoming. So it's not that FUNAB cannot produce food for Abeokuta, but the funding has to be there to be able to go about it. As I said earlier, individuals in my Department of Aquaculture and Fisheries Management who are staff or lecturers, they produce more than enough fish than even the department, because we are able to source for loans, soft loans from here and there, and we produce and we make profit by God's grace. So the funding has to be there, and as I said, government has no business in business. It's the partnership that can do it. Then coming to Professor Agbola, we are there. There'll be food security eventually in Nigeria. It's just the will that matters, and there should be continuity in policy implementation. It's not just the formulation. The policies are always there, but it is the implementation that matters. And when it is implemented, we are going to get good results. And it's mainly going to be private sector driven, but with government creating the enabling environment. Then the Boko Haram issue definitely affected agriculture in the northeastern part of Nigeria. The farmers were driven out of their farms or even killed. The women messed up and the children kidnapped. Let me put it that way. Remember the case of the Chibok girls. So the Boko Haram issue really affected the farmers seriously in northeastern Nigeria. Then coming to factors militating against FUNAB, I already told you it's finance mainly. We have the two factors of production. The third one is not there, funding. Even entrepreneurship is there, but the funding has to be there before the entrepreneurship can show up. And that's why even members of staff, They have, even I know of a retired professor who has a cattle ranch, and he must have taken some loan or used part of his gratuity to establish that. So we shall get there. It's a matter of time. We shall get there.
All right. Thank you so much for your contributions, your questions. We appreciate every one of you this morning. We want to appreciate you for being part of the show. Thank you very much, Professor Samuel Otubusin, for honoring our invitation.
God bless Nigeria. God bless Rock City.
God bless you too, sir. All right, that's our show this morning. Thank you for joining us. Join us again tomorrow for the Thursday edition. I am Tobi Joseph.
And I am Aghemerio Oaikhenan. Good morning.